A couple announcements from OpenAI this week. I think the most notable, the one that is shaking things up quite a bit and a lot of controversy. Some people are really optimistic about this. Some people have some concerns. Love to hear everyone's thoughts about this below, but OpenAI recently established a partnership with, I believe the couple of big names here are going to be Oracle, which, as we know, is a big software company. They recently acquired Cerner, which is a huge medical health system platform, and also SoftBank, a company based out of Japan. And SoftBank will be the main company or organization that will be funding this project. As we heard last year, the conversation that Trump had with Mayoshi, or I believe it's Mayoshi-san, the CEO of SoftBank. Trump had that conversation. Wait, was it last? I guess it technically was last year. It was like 2 months ago. Trump was like, "Hey, I hear you want to make this $100 billion investment, but could you make it $200 billion?" So Mayoshi-san comes to the Capitol just a couple days ago and says, "You know what, Mr. Trump, or President Trump, I want to make it $500 billion." So he ended up upping the investment. There's some skepticism whether or not that $500 billion is there. As we do see, they are deploying $100 billion immediately. They already have it looks like most of the initial data center up. It is in Texas. I believe it's Abilene. I can pull that up in just a second so we can take a look at what that initial data center looks like, but they're saying it could create hundreds of thousands of American jobs, which definitely very interesting. They're saying this is a straight path to ASI. A couple of the big callouts here were that this will help with breakthroughs such as longevity and chronic disease curing. So think of things like cancer. I believe Larry Ellison said that there could be potential breakthroughs in the cancer space as it relates to mRNA vaccines against certain cancers. So if you go to your doctor and you are identified as having a certain type of cancer, they can do some sort of a blood screening. I don't think it works for all cancers, but some cancers do show up in blood screenings, and then they can make some vaccine for it that will help your body fight off the cancer. It's how I understood it. Sounds like this is 2 to 3 years out, so I guess we'll see, but the initial data center is kind of being built right now, and I'll show you guys this real quick before we move. This is what we have so far on the initial build of I believe it's in Abilene, Texas. This is what the initial data center is going to look like. It looks like a very massive undertaking. I believe based on the research I did, it looks like it's going to be about 200 megawatts, which, if I'm correct here, that would make it the largest data center in the world. I believe the next biggest one is about 150 megawatts in China. I know there are a lot of companies right now building a lot of big data centers, so we'll see how that record shakes up soon. But as far as I know, 200 megawatts is pretty big. So this is our first look at the Stargate data center here in Abilene, Texas. Next up, we got Operator. Operator rolled out yesterday. Yesterday was Thursday, January 23rd. Rolled out to all Pro members. There is some concern and speculation, like, will they make it available to Plus users, or better yet, free users at some point? I guess we will see. There are a lot of people competing in the agent space right now, but OpenAI likes to do things really well. I kind of think of them as like an Apple of AI, if you will. They aren't always releasing the most advanced things, but the things they do release typically work quite well from what I've seen in the past. I guess we will see here, because personally, I am not a Pro member, so unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to dig into this, but have seen some use cases. Right now, I believe it's strictly going to work inside of the browser. So if you go to your ChatGPT instance and you are a Pro plan member, you will see in the top left where you can click on ChatGPT and create a new chat, or the custom GPTs like pane menu. You can click over there and click on Operator and start using it right away. They have a lot of different integrations, so it works with things like TripAdvisor, works with StubHub to book tickets. It can book restaurants for you, or make reservations rather. Has a lot of different potential here. Research, the whole nine yards. It can do pretty much everything. They're calling it the computer use agent, and something that Sam Altman teased when they rolled this out on YouTube yesterday is that there will be several more agent related releases here over the next few weeks. So we will see what we get. They did show a little score that showed how well the model performed on using different operating systems. It doesn't look like it is in here, but it scored pretty well when it comes to Mac and Linux navigation. I'm not sure if we will get Windows for quite some time. You know, as we know, they have a pretty good partnership right now with Apple and being integrated with Siri and all that. But right now, it's strictly in the browser as far as I can tell, and it's officially rolled out to all Pro members in the United States, at least. So excited to see how this pans out, and yeah, that's it on this. So this week we got a couple of updates from ByteDance. The first thing that I was going to talk about here is their new code editor. Think of like Cursor. This is a company, you know, that also makes TikTok. So now they're kind of taking a look in the AI development space, which we are hearing from various CEOs that this is going to be more important moving forward. People are going to be doing less with actual code and more of talking to computers. And it seems like ByteDance is well aware of this. So they recently launched their AI code editor. I believe it's free, and believe a lot of people have access to it. I'm not sure if the name is in here, but I believe it is called Trey. Oops. I believe it's called Trey, if I remember correctly. Not sure why it's doing that. Yeah, so it's named Trey. So yeah, check out that new IDE from ByteDance if you're interested in the development space. We don't do a lot of development talk over here, but I'll just leave it at that. Sam Altman did take to Twitter, or X rather, stating that O3 Mini will be free to all ChatGPT members. You do not have to be on the Plus plan, nor do you have to be on the Pro plan or Teams, etc. It's going to be available to everyone. And why this is a big deal is because that O3 Mini is better than O1 in most areas, as far as I can tell. We will see what it comes down to when they release their O3 Pro and the full O3 model, but excited to see how O3 plays out. If you are on the free tier, you will get very limited access. If you're on the Plus tier, you'll get tons of O3 Mini usage. And of course, if you're on the Pro tier, you'll get unlimited usage with O3 Mini and the future O3 models, as far as I can tell. Perplexity also rolled out their assistant. It is live right now on Android. So this is like an agentic type tool that you can use on your phone. So you don't have to be on your computer necessarily. It is a different app here. I'm not sure if they put the direct link, but it's called Perplexity Assistant. It has a lot of different capabilities. There's a short video here kind of going through a couple of them, but I'm really impressed by what Perplexity is doing. Okay, so Perplexity rolled out their API. It's called Sonar. I love Perplexity. I'm always using Perplexity for all kinds of different things, and I think you should too if you haven't used Perplexity. It is a really phenomenal tool. Sorry, let me make sure we can see everything here. But essentially, they rolled out their API. So their API is now live, so you have access to using their API for all kinds of different applications you might be working on, you know, agents, browser agents. I don't think Operator can quite use it. Although Operator, it's funny, OpenAI's Operator can interact with other language models, but I don't think it can exactly interact with Sonar. But Sonar is here. It is Perplexity's API. Really big deal. So that's all on that. I will be honest, Anthropic or Claude, they've been a little quiet. We have seen a lot of big shakeups here over the last couple of weeks. There is some speculation that Claude 4 could roll out within the next week or so. But what we have now is Anthropic citations through the API. So Claude now grounds responses in source documents. This adds enhanced trust, improving accuracy, verifiability, and minimizes the language model's hallucination rate. So some use cases are summarizations, Q&A, support with precise source citations, customer success. It uses routers, index report for improved accuracy, and has some reduced errors. It is a new feature that is available in Claude 3.5, Sonnet, and Haiku. Pika Labs is back on the radar. They are releasing their 2.1. They are saying it's a new era in AI-driven video creation. There's a ton of different generations floating around online of this model, but here's just a quick demonstration of some of its capabilities. Again, it's 2.1. It is in early access. I believe you can go to their Discord and request early access, or they may have a form on their website. But as it stands, if you just go to Pika Labs, you will not have access to Pika 1 or Pika 2.1, but it is here and it looks really impressive. Tencent is still working on some pretty incredible stuff over there. They just rolled out their new 3D. It's a text to 3D object tool. As we know, Tencent Hunyuan had rolled out their incredible text to video model that competes with a lot of the big labs like Veo 2. I think it's up there with that one. Very, very impressive. But as far as Tencent Hunyuan 3D open source, this project has entered the 2.0 version. It says they're presenting revolutionary effects that rival those of commercial products. Again, it's open source. So again, you can run this locally on your computer. For the most part, it is a text to 3D model, but you can also upload sketches and have it come up with 3D iterations of those as well. Think of like video game objects, right? This is really going to streamline video game development, and think that big labs can start rolling out games at a quicker pace here. So this is a new release by Tencent Hunyuan. It's their 3D 2 model. Another release from ByteDance this week, we got a reasoning model. This has 2 billion parameters, 7 billion parameters, or 72 billion parameters, and it has a reasoning aspect component to it. So it's an agent. It's competing directly with OpenAI's operator, right? Runs directly on your computer. It can do a ton of different things. I don't think there are a ton of benchmarks available for it yet. Does look like they did roll out their Hugging Face document, which you can dive right in here and see all the different models that are available for this agent. But operators and agents are really blowing up right now. Really excited to see ByteDance release this. And of course, they release their coding model that's competing with Cursor and others. So really exciting stuff here. Okay, so I did briefly go through this the other day in a dedicated video for Deepseek R1. Deepseek R1 is a direct competitor to OpenAI's O1 series model. We do see that in this brief benchmark here. The R1 model outperforms the OpenAI O1 in several key areas. Not in all of them, but the biggest thing here is that Deepseek R1 is open source, meaning you can run this on your computer at home. I actually did this thing where I installed it directly on my iPhone yesterday and started messing around with it, and I had a full-fledged reasoning model on my iPhone. So this is a big deal. I really like open source. Open source allows you to be in control of your data. If you have a business, you can fine tune this thing to work specifically for you and your data set and what you sell, etc. So there's a lot of different, it's very malleable. Privacy piece is huge. Not having to pay for it, huge. Not having to be restricted on usage, it's a big deal. And another big call out is V3, which shook things up for a lot of big labs and small developers building different apps. Because think about it, this model here is competing with O1. When O1 rolled out, it shook a lot of things up for a lot of startups, etc. Right? Because who knows what they were building, but O1, being how great it performed, can do a lot of different things. A few weeks ago, V3, Deepseek V3 rolled out. That really shook things up. There were some leaked messages coming out of Meta saying that it's really keeping them on their toes and worried about what the future looks like with China releasing all these incredible models. Because if they're releasing these models here, like what haven't they made open source? Like, what do they have over there at China that they haven't released? They're probably 10 steps ahead of this, like if we're being honest. But considering they just rolled out V3 3 weeks ago, and they just had R1 rollout a few days ago, they could actually roll out an O3 competitor open source in just 2 to 3 weeks. Like, think about that. That would be insane if they keep up with this 3 week release schedule. So we will see, but Deepseek, very interesting. You can run it at home on your phone. Pretty much anything can run this model. Super impressed by it. There's no big lab that isn't thinking about the impact of Deepseek and what else they might be working on and what else they could release in the future. Just wanted to touch on that quickly. I have a full video on my channel about Deepseek, but really big stuff here. All right, that is everything I had this week. Again, it was a very big week in AI. Let me know if I missed anything down below. I know there's always so much to cover and review, and a lot of things happened this week, so chances are I may have missed something, but I tried to do my best in covering everything I thought was important. But let me know your thoughts below. I appreciate you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.